Okay, so the very first question that was what is the 7 to the power of 4? So we have already learned about the arithmetic operator and we know what is that operator is?
Exponentiation.
Yes, and how do we represent that exponentiation in Python? That is with two
Asterisk
sign. Okay, and then I need the 7 to the power 4. So the second value that I have to provide is here 4. And when I execute it, you can see my output is 2401. That matches this one. Okay, I have already given the output so that you can check when you are doing your assignment. Now the second question was we need to split the string. Okay, so the string here is hi, there, Sam. So when you saw this question, the very first thing that you have to do is like you need to first of all declare this, right? Until unless you won't declare the string as, you won't be able to use any methods on it. Okay, so I said hi there, Sam. So what was our expected output? That we need to split into a list. Right now, if I just print as, okay, so you can see, if I just print as, you can see it is like printing the whole string together. But the expected output is like you need hi as a separate string, there as a separate string, and this Sam as a separate string. Okay, so how we can do that? We know that. Okay, we have certain methods. How to check the list of methods? That is dot, and we have to press tab. Correct? So you can see all the methods available for the string data type. Okay, so we need to split it. So we know that what is the command, the method, that is the split method. Okay, fine. Let's check the doc string. If you see the doc string, it is saying that you can mention some separator. All right, by default, what is a separator? The split by default separator is what?
Space.
Space, yes. Okay, so if you see our string, what is the default separator in my string? Space.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what happened if I just execute it? You can see that I am able to get the expected output. Correct? Just forget this dad, just see for the Sam. So you can check that instead of this one complete string, it is now been split into 3 different strings. Okay, clear so far, Akanksha?
Clear.
Okay, whenever you got any problem, okay, try to just read the doc string of the function. You need to experiment it. At the one or the first attempt, you won't get the correct answer, but as you keep on trying, eventually you will get to the correct answer. All right. Now, this question, you were provided two, what are these?
Planet
And diameter. What do we call them?
Variables.
Yes, we have two variables and we have two types of values being assigned. The very first value is string and the second value is
integer.
Yes. So what I have to do, I will first declare it. Okay, I'll execute it. Fine. Now let's see what all values we have in our variables. Okay, I just said print planet. So I got Earth, and if I want to see what is being stored in diameter, you can see that the diameter value. All right. Now, what was our expected output? We want to print it in this format, right? The diameter of Earth is this kilometers. So we have studied about the format. Did you remember the format? We can provide certain formats.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, and we have a special symbol, two curly braces that act as a placeholder for the string values. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so now tell me how we can do that.
So we first write So
print. Okay.
yeah, when print and then we do the diameter of Earth. The diameter, we first add the diameter.
Okay, so what I have to do here? I'll place a placeholder, right? Because I want
not on Earth. It should be like on Earth because
yes. Okay. So it should be on Earth because we have two variables. One is the planet and one is the
Earth.
diameter.
Yeah.
So what will happen?
So instead of Earth, we put the curly braces.
Yes, we will put two curly braces and then
again the diameter would be
yes. So
curly
here we
braces.
have to place. Now we have created two placeholders. Now what is the next step? We have to provide the appropriate
Dot
values.
format.
Correct? So we have dot format. Now
Again,
what is
now
the first value you want to put in the first placeholder? That is planet. So I'll write planet. Now the second one is
diameter.
diameter. Okay. Now if I execute it, I got the expected output. Okay. What if I just change their position? Okay. I made it like diameter and planet. So what happens?
They will going to change the place.
Yes. Now, what if I want to rectify this particular, code? I still want my output like to be this. The diameter of Earth is this kilometers. There's still a way we can do that. Okay. What is the position of diameter in the format? This is the first position. And what is the position of planet?
Second.
Okay, what if I just give here 1 and 2?
Okay, yeah.
Will that work?
No.
We got error. Why? Because normally our indexing starts with
0.
Correct. So, how I can rectify it? First of all, I see that what appropriate value you want here. You want the planet name. So what is the planet position? It is 0 and then 1. So what I'm going to write here, diameter of placeholder, within you can provide certain index values as well. Okay. And then here, I want the diameter value to be printed. So I can write 0. So this way, you got this flexibility, liberty that still you can rearrange the format of the variables. Okay, you can provide the certain index values. The other way around, what we saw that without providing any index, you need to provide values in a sequence. Okay, in which sequence you want them to be printed. Correct?
Yes.
So we learned two ways here. That how you can use the format. Clear? Akanksha, Vivek,
yes,
and Rishi, and how many people we have in the call today right now? Vivek joined, okay.
Yeah. I'm here right on time today.
Yeah, good. So, okay, Padmini also joined. All right, let's go back now. Okay, so we learned two ways to use a format. We have even multiple ways, there's one more way we can use this format command. Any guesses? Right now we provided the numbers. If we provide the actual name of the variable, will it work? You can try at your end also. You can open your notebooks and try. Because today's session is specifically to make you all comfortable and you need to practice a lot. Okay, you all have to understand this fact. So open your notebooks, take your time, and there's one more way. Okay, I showed you two ways, one with the placeholder, one with the index. Try. What if you just provide a variable name here? What output you got?
Okay, just a sec.
Coding is all about experiment. As we all have studied science and math, as you practice, as you experiment. Will it work?
No.
No. And what if I just put them into string codes? Will it work? No. So
No.
always you need to experiment. Okay? Fine? All right. Chalo, let's move further. This was the very important question. This is the usage of the, how to use the index, okay, in the list or in any of the sequence type of data types, okay, the dictionary or when we learn about tuple and all sets, how to, get certain values. So here you can see that the list, how is it? It is a nested list. And our objective was to get the output as hello.
Yeah, I got stuck with this question.
Yeah. So what happened? First of all, let's declare our list. Okay. And how to use the index values? First of all, you have to use the list name, and within a square bracket, you start your index value. Now
Right.
let's see, where is the hello? Here, okay? It looks little tricky and confusing. So we'll start from the very first element. This is 0, 1, 2. Till 2 we all clear, right? It looks that this is the second element is itself a list, right? Now if I go for the third value, it looks like that it's a very big nested list. Okay, so what I did, I said, okay, let me see and explore this list third index value. Okay, so what happened when you just write list 3? You can see that you are able to extract this sublist, okay, which was a nested list in this list. Yes?
Right.
It looks like a list to everyone. Now, what I want to get, I want to grab this hello. Let's travel. This is 0 position, and this is first. If you see, it again looks like a big list. So what I do, I will just write 1. So what I said,
Right.
this main list, go and grab the third index, then go and check for the first index. Okay, so I'll use a separate cell for this so that okay, so when we just grab the third value, we got this list, and when I said just go and grab the first one, so you can see that I'm able to narrow it down. Okay, I started with a big list, then I just got sub list, and then I narrow it down to this list only. Okay, now if you see, there are how many elements in this sub list? How many elements? Come on, you all have to be interactive, or else
Yeah.
I would have scheduled the session at Graphy only. If you don't want to
Okay.
talk.
Okay. There are 3 elements into it.
Yes, 3 elements, correct?
Yeah.
So now it's pretty clear that I can access this hello, right? What is the position of this hello here?
2.
We'll start 0, 1 and 2. So when I write 2, you can see that I'm able to grab hello. But still my output didn't match. My output looks like what? Just a string hello. I don't want a list hello, right? Now
Right.
how can I grab it? How can I grab it?
I'm just trying at my end.
Okay, just try. Take a minute everyone and let me know what should be the last index value here.
Three one two zero.
It will be 0, right?
0.
Yes. So when we write 0, why? Because if you see, this is a list, correct?
Right.
And it contains only one element, that is hello. So when I write 0, you can check that my output now, it matches with the actual output. Okay, clear so far, everyone? Can we move ahead to the second question?
Yes, ma'am.
Kangsha, Padmini?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, okay. So what we did, when you are coding, always try to break down your task. Okay, as you can see that I break down into multiple things. First of all, I try to grab the sub list, very big sub list. Then I try to grab a little portion of it, like that, and then you need to think also. When you got the hello, don't get excited or happy that you got the answer. You need to see whether actually it matches or not. Okay, so what we did, we saw that this is a list. It contains only one element, so we need to use index value 0 over here. All right. Now, this one is the most tricky one. Okay. First of all, what we will do, we will declare it. So what is this? This is it's a
Dictionary.
yes. Okay. Now, again, our objective is to get what? This word hello. All right. So, we'll start. The method to access dictionary is also same, right? You need to use square brackets.
Somebody has opened the mic, so it's echoing.
Yeah, actually you need to mute it, okay? When you're not talking, please. Okay, fine. Now, if you see that dictionary is always how it is being stored in the pair, key and value. Okay, so if you see this K1 is key and whatever follows after this colon sign is a part of value. So this K1 key has this big value. Okay, it looks too big. Even whenever you are into Jupyter notebook, I'm not talking about other interfaces or IDEs. In Jupyter, you can see that when you just click on this particular square bracket, you can see ants. Okay, so this gives you a very good picture and approximation that this dictionary contains only one key value pair. All right, so I got an idea. All right, this is K1. So will it work like this if I write just K1? Or I'll get error. Why? Because it's a string value. It's not a number. Okay, so I need to use as it is. What is the key name is here? You need to use it as it is. Now, when I try to access this K1 key, you can check. Okay, I got a very big output over here. It means that it extracted this whole part, and this whole part looks like a list. Yes?
Yeah.
Now, what is the next step? I need to figure out where my hello is. Let's see. Okay, what is the next index value that we need to access? It looks like that 1, 2, 3. They are all individual elements. Okay, individual items of a list. Clear?
Yes.
So now what is the fourth element? Third index value. Third index value is again a big dictionary. Correct? Yes. So what we are going to do, we are going to access the third element. Okay, you can see that now I got my whole dictionary, right? Now it's a dictionary. Now what we have to do, we have to again go and figure out where the position of hello is. So you saw that this dictionary contains how many key value pairs? The very first is this one, tricky. Okay, I just type it here. You can see the very first is tricky, and the value again, it gives me the indication that this particular list, this is the whole value of which key? Tricky key. It means that if I need to access hello, I have to go and access tricky first. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to access the tricky. So how to access is square bracket, and you need to write within quotes tricky. All right. So you see what was the output. Now it is again a list, and this list contains how many elements? 1, 2, 3, and this is again a dictionary. All right, this is a fourth element, and we know that our hello belongs into this last element. So how can I access it again? Now tell me the backward indexing. Okay, this time how can I access it? This is the last element, right, of this list. So how can I access it? Come on.
minus
-1.
Yes, good. So there are two ways. I can access it with backward indexing as well as I can access from the forward direction. So if I want to access from the forward direction, what should I write? It will be 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's gonna be third. Alright, so what we saw that with the help of two types of indexing, either backward or forward, you got the same output. Now we have sorted it this so far. Alright. Now what it is now, the output, is it a dictionary or list? It's a dictionary. Yes. So again, it's a key value pair. So the key is target, and it looks pretty clear that there's just one key value pair. Target is a key and a value is a whole list. Fine. So how I'm gonna access it? Again, I will go and access my key target. Now you can see that the output is in the form of list. All right, let's move further. How to access this hello here? I have to count the index value, so let's go with the backward one this time. Okay.
-1 or 3 both will work.
Yeah, this will go with the -1.
Okay.
So I'm able to access my hello. You can see that the actual output and the expected they both match. Clear?
yes.
Clear.
Kanksha, any
Yes,
doubt
ma'am.
in this one?
No, ma'am.
Clear?
It's
Okay.
clear.
So whatever assignments I have shared or quiz, please attempt it because there are multiple questions of these indexing. Okay. So as you practice, you will get your hands on so much clear on this, how to access it. Okay. Because in the real world, you will always get a very big and complicated data types. So you should know how to access them and always break down your problem. Go and access one by one. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now this was a pretty easy question. Difference between tuple and list. So far we have not covered tuple. In the next session we'll learn about tuple. But I have already told you tuple is immutable and list is mutable. That is the main difference between two. Okay. Now this is a very interesting.
I spent nearly 1 hour in these two questions because this simple thing did not get into my mind that I could use the indexing. I use loop, for.
That's what these questions are made. You know, this assignment, when I learned Python for the very first time, okay, almost 5 years back or so, that time I solved these questions when I was learning. I always prefer this particular format of question when I just taught any beginners or new learners. If you are able to solve these 10 questions, it means that your fundamentals are almost very clear. Okay, because it's a mix of almost everything: conditional, functions, loops, and the methods, how to use them, indexing. So if you're able to solve all these 10, it means that we are very good to go ahead and start game programming. Okay. Fine. So let's first of all see what is the question. Okay. The question says that you need to create a function that grabs the email website domain from a string. Normally our email is in this form. Always. Okay. User and @ and you will have certain domain name. So if you pass this particular email ID to your function, it should return what? Just domain name. Okay, whatever, like gmail.com or live.com, anything. It should be after @ whatever values you need to grab it. Again, even before starting writing function, what we will do, we will just declare one variable over here. Okay, I said, okay, my email is shubhra@live.com. Okay, this is my email. I just declared my one variable. Now, what was my main objective? That I want to grab this particular value. So how we can grab that? We have certain string methods. So this email is a string variable. So how can we check? We can go and press tab and you can see all the methods available for the string. So we know that how to split it. We use split also in one of the questions, right? We go and I said, okay, let's split it. If I just execute it, it will just give me the whole output. Why? Because the default separator that is being used with a split is space. Now I know that email format is always going to be like this. I want to grab the value wherever this @ So what I will say, go and check @ and split the string. Okay.
Yes.
So what happened? It split shubhra@live.com. But still my objective, it's not been met. What we need this particular part. So there are two ways. You can go with the forward indexing or you can go with the backward indexing. So in these types of question, always go with the backward indexing. Okay? Because our objective is to grab this last portion. Fine. So what I will do, I will say go with the -1. So I got my live.com. Now comes the time to put all the steps within our function so that we can use that functions whenever it's required. So how to define a function? Def, and then our function name is what? Domain get.
Get domain.
Domain get. This is the function name. If you see throughout the exercise, whenever I have asked you to define a function name, it always follows certain structure. You can see that always the very first word will be small case, and then if you have a next word, okay, like get is itself a word. I can't use a space or something. I don't want to use underscore also. So how can I make it more readable? I can make it just this one word, one character as the capital. So it gives you the readability that you tries to get a certain domain. So these types of all the instructions, whenever you are defining certain functions and name, when we start with game programming, almost 15-20 minutes we will spend on certain instructions, that how to define functions, how to use them, and all those instructions. Okay, so don't worry about that, but always pay attention. Whenever you are doing certain assignment, you will learn a lot of techniques. So how to define variables and function names. You saw that one way is that you can use certain uppercase and lowercase combinations. Okay, now when you have given this particular function name, the next thing is you need a colon. Now always a good practice, define a doc string. So what this particular function is going to do, that
It's gonna return.
okay, so I just copied from here and say that this function grabs the email website domain from a string in the form. Now we know that what is the input. We have to provide an input also, right? So input is string. So if we need the input, we need to use parenthesis also, and we have to provide a particular placeholder for email. So I said, okay, let's name it as email. Fine. And what is the output of this function? It is going to provide me the domain name. It means that our output is in the form of string only. All right. So when you provide the proper doc string, it will be easy for the end user to use that. Now time to define our code. So what is the code? We have our email ID. There are two ways we can do this. We can split it into two parts. Okay, so as a beginner, I will always suggest split into multiple parts and then return it. Okay, so So what we can do, email, because we already have a variable name, so the same variable I want to use here, and then I want to split it at the rate, okay, and the -1 value, let's store it into some variable. I said just OK because this is my output, and I'm going to return this output. All right, so
Right.
my function is being defined. When you define your function, you can go and check whether it's been registered in the Python interpreter or not. Okay, just type the name and you will see the very basic information. Now let's check the docstring of our function. So how to check it? That is Shift tab. You will be able to see the docstring that you have defined. See, all right. You can check all the information what this function actually did. Now time to check our test case. So here is our function name, and then we have this email ID, and we'll just execute it, and you can see I'm able to get my domain name. You can check with multiple examples as you want. Okay, I said shubhra@gmail.com. So this basic function covers just one case, that when you have this @. Okay, clear so far everyone?
Yes.
Yep.
So what we learned, that you need to always, before defining function also, you need to just write your own code, check it, how it works, then put it into the function definition. Okay?
Yeah. Just one question. What if I want it to be user interface? Like I want that the user puts something and then he gets an out.
So in that case, we know we have input. Try at your end, Vivek.
Yeah, I was doing that. I was getting an error that if I asked you.
Okay, so what error?
The variable is having a problem because
See, no. If you want from the user, so how we can do that? That's easy. Rishi always do user input. Kyo, Rishi? Alright, so what we will do, first of all, we'll create a variable, right? Because we need some placeholder. So I said, okay, that's my variable 1. I said, okay, take input, and then enter your email ID. Okay, then I want him to enter in the next line. So that's why I just write /n. Let's see. Control enter. It's asking me to enter my email ID. I said Shubhra. Wow, see, giving me the suggestion. Okay, so I have multiple IDs nowadays.
yeah,
So this
obviously.
is our this one. Now it's pretty simple. I mean, as you have provided the string, you can call your function here. So that's domain get, and var1 should work. See.
No, but this is outside the function. What if I want to have it inside the function? I mean, I want to limit it to a method only.
Method only.
So,
Okay, let's give a try.
yeah, there I got this. This was just pretty understandable.
Okay.
I'm just trying to iterate over, so I get everything very clear how to
Yeah,
position the
fine. No issues, Vivek. Even I'm trying this for the first time. I mean, calling the user input, because it hardly happens in my case that I have used this use input command to get the runtime input. So I'll give a try, okay? And let's see if we run into certain error or not. So what we can do, I just put this one. Okay. Okay, so I'll see abc@gmail.com. Oh, I got out. See, Vivek?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe there must be some parenthesis issue, or how you have defined your string.
Yeah, makes
So
sense.
clear so far, everyone?
Yes.
So we saw certain use cases for this particular function. Always go step by step. When you are absolutely sure that whatever steps you have written, they are giving you expected output, then only define a function. Because at the very first, if you define a function, there are chances that you don't get your expected output. Debugging is very tough. You have to keep a lot of print statement, then only you can debug the function definitions. Okay, so what I always do, I always break down my task. I'll just try to execute line by line, whatever output I'm getting, then I'll build my whole function definition. So now we have many other functions to do right now also. Let's go to the next question. Oh, this one. So what we have to do, we need to create a basic function that returns true if word dog is contained in the input string. Okay, so they are saying please don't worry about certain edge cases, like if there are certain punctuation signs or something, we can ignore that case. We are just focusing on the word dog. Okay, now let's see, we have a statement. Okay, this is one of the string. Let's define a string. Okay, so what I did, I just define a string which contains a dog statement. Even one more advice, when you are starting with certain for example, here I want to find a dog, so always go with the positive statement where the dog exists, okay, so that you can create your code. Don't go with the opposite case, there is no dog. Fine, always go with the positive scenario. I took a statement which contains dog. Now we know the string methods, right? So if I want to check, is there any method available? Before writing your own code, always go and check all the methods and functions available. You will save your time. Okay, so I'll go and check. How to check? We know tab end. This fine looks pretty promising to me. Okay, let's check the doc string. It's saying that you need to provide certain substring and starting and ending indexes if possible, if you want, and it is going to give you what? Integer as a return type. So I know that what I want to find, dog, correct? Yeah, it gives me the index value, what? 11. Now what if my statement don't contain any dog? Okay, so we have seen this case. Okay, it will give you what? 0? No. When you talk about the indexing, what happens if you are not able to get a certain index? Okay, so return will be always -1. Why? Because the index starts with 0. So we got our two scenarios. Okay, what was the first scenario? That if string is found, you will get certain number which is positive number, correct? If a string is found, you get positive number, and else you're going to get what? -1. So we got a very basic foundation of our function, that if dog is being found, you will get certain positive number or else -1. And in our function definition, we need to return as true or false. So what we can do, we can start building our function. So what is our function name? Find dog, and it takes one string as input. Let's give our dog string. So dog string is function that returns. Okay. So I said this function returns true if the word dog is contained in the input strings, else false. All right. Now what is our input? Input and output. So our input is what? It's a statement. Okay, so input is a statement, and output is going in the form of, it will be Boolean, either true or false. Okay, so now we are good to define our function. We know that we have a statement. So what I said, stmt dot find. We know what do we need to find? The word dog. So I'll just write find dog. Now this particular statement is going to give me written as a number, so I need to store it somewhere. So what I said, okay, let's store. I said okay, v1, it is going to give me certain value. Written is true false. So how we can do that? I need to write an if else. If v1, what? v1 should be greater than
0.
0. Okay, but 0 is also a index value, correct? If we give just right greater than 0, we are going to what? Skip the 0 index value.
Greater
Or else we
or
can
equal
say
to.
that greater than equal to 0. Okay? Then what needs to be done? We need to return what?
True.
True. Yes. All right. Then what will be the else part? Very simple. Return just
False.
false. So that's how we create our this find dog function. Let's execute it. Let's go and check whether our function is registered or not. Yes, good. Now let's check our first test case. Okay, I got false. Why?
Capital dog. T.
Yes. So we know how to take care of this. How to take care of this? Come on guys, can we have the training of the methods or not?
Yes. We converted into lower.
Yes, what are you going to do? Because within the function definition, you are the one who define, right? You have the privilege. You can make it all capital case or you can make it all lower case, but I want to keep it lower. So what I will do, whatever string that I have taken as the input for this function, I am going to convert it into lower, okay? And then I will apply this find on that. Okay, so let's check outside whether it works or not. It says -1. Yes, because it don't have anything. So let's say dog and let's execute it. Say yes. Let's check the edge case of capital D, and then here, yes, we are able to get the certain index value. Okay, even our dog is in capital or small, doesn't matter. So the same thing I will replicate here. I will say just use lower and then find. Okay, so what we did, we define a function dog string, and then whatever input this function is going to take, convert it into lowercase and then apply this find. Okay, so when you apply the find, you will get integer as a return value. So our conditional statement is if whatever the written index value, is it greater than equal to 0? If so, return true, or else return false. Now check in our this final test case. Now it is going to give me as true. So what we learned so far, easy or it was tough?
Easy.
Easy?
No, thoda so tough.
Tough hai? So
Yes.
shall I repeat it again?
Yes, ma'am. Once more.
Okay, and one more thing. I have a question in here. I have been trying doing this thing
What?
for the same logic, but it doesn't seem to work around. So if you have time, you can take it as maybe some other time.
Okay, first of all, I need to see now. You pinged me, correct? So
Yeah, I just want to.
for else in okay element in X, you are going to print it if it is equal to dog print. So yeah, it should work also.
Yeah, but it's not working actually.
Okay, then I need to check. Okay, so
Mhm,
I'll
sure, yeah.
check and I'll ping it you back. Okay, Hannah baby.
Sure,
Let's
sure.
move further again. So okay, Akanksha, and I'll just repeat it again. So that was Akanksha or Padmini that asked me out. Okay, anyways, so our objective is that you get any statement, okay, and you need to find where a word dog exists or not. So we have a find function. We know that when I just apply the find method on it, you got integer as an output. Either the positive index value, or if it is not able to find that particular substring, you will get -1. But there are chances that the word that you're going to find may exist in certain uppercase or lowercase. So avoid that confusion. What I said, whatever input string you're getting, convert it into lowercase. Either it is in lowercase, convert it. Okay, so whatever input that you're getting, convert into lowercase and then apply the find function. Okay, this find method. So what happened when I declared my function? So what I did, that this is my input. Okay, so I said whatever input I am getting, apply the lower one, then go and find the dog. If you are able to find the dog, we have this if else. So if you are able to find dog, it means that you will get any positive number or 0. So if you get something, return true or else false. So this is pretty simple. If you're not able to understand, then if you write it by your own, so then you will be able to visualize it. So practice it at your end. Even if you don't understand, ping me, I will help you to understand it again. Okay, with some different use case. Instead of dog, we will try to find your name in the statement or paragraphs. Fine? So can we proceed further?
Yes, ma'am.
So what we did, here we find the dog, whether it exists or not.
Yes, ma'am.
The second scenario is you need to count the number of dog. Okay, how many dog word exist in the particular statement. Okay, fine. So we know that how to do. We have a which method? Count method. So let's see what this count method did. It always happens. Once if it's already executed, it won't give me shift tab. Okay. And now okay, anyways, Alright, okay. So I'll just execute the count, and what I want to execute, that is dog. I want to find dog. So if in this statement, if you see how many dogs are there, 1 and 2. So I got the output as 2. The same thing we will replicate in our count dog function. So we have already done this part. We have to convert it into lowercase, and then you will apply count. Okay, so the same thing we will do here. We defined our count dog. Alright, this is the name of the function. Then input is the same, one statement. We define our dog string, and we know our input is what? Input is a string, and output will be, output is what? We need to return the count. So output will be an integer value. Fine? This is how we define our dog string. Now I said I want to store the count, so I need a variable. So what I did, I declared a variable count. Then I said statement, whatever input, convert into lowercase, and then count the appearances of dog in the particular statement and return that count. Okay, when I execute it, let's check my this S case. You can see I have how many? 1, 1, 2, 3 and 4 dogs. And here also I tried to cover this uppercase also. Okay, so you got the output as 4. And what if I don't have any dogs? Let's check that also. I got as 0. Fine? Clear? So if you were able to solve this first question, automatically this would have been a very easy peasy one, counting one, because the base and foundation is very similar. Even this one is pretty easy. You don't need not any if else condition. Come on. Okay. This one we are going to skip because I am still have not explained you about the filter thing, so we will not attempt this question. Okay, we'll just skip one. Now coming to the final problem, this was a very important one and I want all you to attempt. So did anyone tried and got the correct output? Chalo, first of all, let's read the problem statement. What it is that? That you are driving a little too fast and a police officer stops you. You need to write a function to help the police officer so that which type of ticket he should issue, whether no ticket, small ticket or big ticket. So we have three possible results. When your function executes, it may give only three output, either no ticket, small ticket, big ticket. So ticket, you everyone knows that it's a kind of fine if you are over speeding or something. So that is the meaning of ticket over here. Now the use case is that if your speed is 60 or less, okay, it means that no ticket. Let's start writing. No. The very first thing is speed is 60 or less. So 60 or less, 60 or less is no ticket. Fine. Then what is the second case? If speed is 81 or more, result is big ticket. So 81 or more, that is big ticket. Even you can write on your, if you have notepad or paper, pen, pencil, so it was easy. If you are writing, then you are making it into certain code, okay? Then we got two scenarios, 60 or less, no ticket, 81 or more, big ticket, and in between, it means that 61 and 80 inclusive, okay? It means that you need, when you're writing code, you need to consider 61 and 80 values, okay? They are inclusive. It means that small ticket, okay? So we got our three cases, okay? In our if-else statement, we need to frame these values, correct? Now, what is the next one? That in case, okay, maybe on that day it was your birthday, so you will get certain concession, okay? So unless it is your birthday, on your birthday, your speed can be 5 higher in all cases, okay? So you get one more scenario for birthday. So if it's your birthday, you're getting +5 in your speed, okay? So far clear? Question or not?
Yes.
Okay. Chalo फिर let's start with if else. Chalo start telling me.
Okay, so
First of all, what we should start with birthday or we should start with speed?
Speed.
let's start with the speed.
Speed.
Yes.
Okay, let's go in your way. Fine. Chalo. Tell me if speed, correct?
The speed is less than equal to 60.
Chalo. First of all, you know, let me define one speed variable so that we can test, you know, as we are writing code. Okay, so I said speed is equal to 61. Okay, let's take 62. Fine, my speed. Now if speed, yes, tell me, keep on telling me. Speed
Speed is less than equal to
less than equal to
60.
Then what we are going to do?
Print no ticket.
Yeah, fine.
Then
We need
else
else if or we need else.
else
Else if.
Else if, yes, we need else.
Else.
Yes, else if speed
is greater than
Equal
60
to.
and less than 82. Sorry, 81.
speed is greater than
61.
61.
Or
Less than.
Okay, or and what I want?
it should be or.
Or and. Okay, we will check with both now. Okay, or
Okay.
speed
Speed is less than 81.
less
81.
than 81. Okay. Fine. What we are going to print?
Print a small ticket.
Small ticket. Then it will be
If
Aleph.
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 Okay.
Speed
Hmm.
greater than 81.
Greater than Akanksha, even
Yes,
in
ma'am.
this case, this is bit what happens. I'll tell you, okay? Let's execute it. Because I saw your code also for this, so I was about to talk to you on this part. Then this is big ticket. Okay. So when I execute it, I got small ticket. Why? My speed is 62. What if my speed is 61? What should be the output if my speed is 61?
Small
Small
ticket.
ticket. But in this case, what happened? I will get small ticket. Wow.
Because we have kept like 60.
Correct. 61. Yes, correct. Okay. So normally what I did, I generally make it equal to, because I want
Exactly.
to include 61 and 80. Okay, let's check other values. Let's go for 56. It's going to give you no ticket. Fine. Now we can check for big ticket also. Let's check for 83. Why I got small ticket?
The ticket is 83. Elephant speed. The speed is, if speed should be greater than 81.
Yeah, we have this speed greater than
Okay.
81. But still I got the small ticket.
Is it because of using OR?
Yes, because we are using here or, so what we should have? We should have here and. Okay. So what happens? It will go and check. Speed 83. 83 greater than 61. Correct. But 83 is less than 81.
Yeah, it has to be any one of those, not
Yes.
both
What
of them
happens?
together.
Yes.
Yeah, so
What
for
happens?
that and is needed, not or.
Yes. So that's how we captured this case. Okay.
Mhm.
Any more values we need to check?
Okay, is it possible to use it the like something like speed less than 61 and on the contrary, like both side on the speed using the operators? That works or that returns an error?
Actually, this works that you're saying, no, I can write it as 81, and you're saying that speed and two variables less than greater than wala. वैसा
Yeah,
क्या होगा?
exactly. Like both the sides operator.
Yes, yes, it works in Python. So it should be speed and here 61, and we need to place the operators here.
Exactly.
Speed would be less than, and
Should be less than 81, right?
yeah, I know. I
Mhm.
think it works because it is giving me no ticket because speed is 0. I said let's have
81.
81. Let's check this part. Actually, no, Vivek, I need to check this part because it's been pretty long that I have used this format. So normally what we use, we go for and or condition so that we
And
can
or
debug it.
condition,
है ना?
right?
So
Yeah,
I will
right,
check
right.
this part as well, and I will come back that how it works. Okay.
I have
So
noted it somewhere. I will do some experiment.
even
In
because
case.
I have because it is available in Python only, this particular scenario that you can provide the two side values and one variable. So it is very
Exactly.
well possible.
Yeah, but I don't know if it is a Pythonic way to do or it's just working for
See,
Python. So.
I'm telling my way. I always go with the small parts so that I can debug them where I'm going wrong.
Exactly,
So
exactly. Makes sense.
I'll
Yeah.
stick with this part only. Okay. So not, till now we have formed our one if block. Okay. Now we need to take care of birthday. Correct. So how we can take care of that?
I think we can loop it with a for loop.
With a for loop. So what I will say, chalo, let's put this code first in our function definition. I said caught is speeding. Okay, let's define a doc string, and I have this my if part. So our doc string is we can just copy paste. Okay. so this is a doc string. Our input is, we have two inputs. Now we have one string, one integer, and other one is boolean, whether it's your birthday or not, correct? Is birthday will give you, you have to pass true or false, and output is string value, possible 3 scenarios, big, small, and big.
So how are we gonna take it? Are we taking it through a statement? Somebody like gonna mention today is my birthday or something. Then only the for loop will work.
I don't think so. We need any for loop. We just
Alright.
need if statement, if and else. Okay.
So then it is a nested. I believe then it is a nested if else statement.
Let's
Then.
first of all sort the birthday. Okay. If his birthday, okay, what it's true or false. So I'll say his birthday is equal to
True.
Then what needs to be done? If it's today your birthday, so whatever the speed value, you can just add 5. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to reassign the speed value. Speed is equal to speed plus 5. Okay.
All right.
Else what we can do, we will say speed जो है वो speed वैसे ही रहेगा as it is. Okay. Now this is the first part done. When this if else is being executed, then it will go and execute this if. Got it? So we have two if else here. One is for birthday, so that you can decide the speed, and then based on the speed value you are going to issue the tickets. Fine?
Right.
So let's check it. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's always a 4. Oh, we are done, no? Speed. Acha, what is the other way around to write this thing? Speed is equal to speed plus 5. Is a shortcut way. Okay, let's check the first test case. I said coach is speeding. When I said it's my birthday is true and speed is 81, so I got big ticket. Fine. And when I said my speed is 81, but today is not my birthday, so what should I get? What happened? It didn't went into check. When I said that it's false, it should give me what output? It's not giving me any output. Okay, so if it's false, why? It's not coming inside any of the if statement. If you see. Why? What happened? What
Ma'am, मैम जो अपन ने कमांड्स दिए हैं वो सेम 81 पे दिए हैं, शायद अपने को स्पीड आगे पीछे करनी पड़ेगी जब वो कमांड दे बुलंद है.
Yes, अगर मैंने कहा greater than equal to 81. Okay, so now here I said it's false, saying big ticket. Okay, and if it was true, now if you see that we are going wrong here. If it is your birthday, your speed can be 5 higher. So what should I do? I can subtract by 5, correct? So that I would not get any big ticket.
Right.
Alright, so now if it's my birthday today, So I'm getting a small ticket, and if it's not my birthday, I'm getting the big ticket. Okay. So guys, actually my son is crying very badly. You can hear that. I'll wrap up the class now. So any
Okay.
doubt in me, let me attend him first. Okay. Thank you
Yeah,
so
sure.
much. I hope you would have learned something new today
Yeah.
from this session.
Sure,
All
sure.
right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye
Bye
bye.
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 Bye bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.
हाँ बेटा I send you a letter. Okay. I send you a letter.